Lewis by 2 points.
Hi, Jessica. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I was all by myself, and I wasn't getting any feedback when I did it earlier on. Did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
No problem. Are you talking to when you're talking to a screen? You think like you're just wondering if anybody's listening to me?
Oh, don't worry. I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, me too sometimes. But we won't go there.
Should I go do your intro? I think we're going to start here. You all set?
Very impressed with Austin's glistering.
Who's commentating? It's Mike and Jessica.
Mike, who's Mike?
Mike.
Who's Mike? Oh
Mike
no.
Willis. I'm Mike Willis,
Okay.
Oh no.
trains manager from London.
Still the world has we know. Or don't, as the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one Jessica. You guys don't need any more explanation than that, right?
Jessica,
There is only one of me.
Jessica, for your information, we're having a bit of trouble with the internet here, so we sometimes glitch out.
Yeah, don't worry. I can see from the little coloured square in the bottom of Craig's screen share.
Oh,
The-
cool.
Yeah, the redder that goes, the more problems the frames are having. So
Okay, just
So-
tell them to play slowly then.
yeah. Come on, Ellie, play slow, and don't put the tiles off the camera. I mean, that's pointless, isn't it?
There you go.
How are we supposed to see that if you line up thud and the T is missing? Oh no, that's a K. Cud and the K is missing. But that's an awful first rack though.
Yeah, it's
You
pretty
made
much,
the best of a bad situation, really. But John's rack is slightly nicer, isn't it?
not that
Just
brilliant.
slightly nicer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, Cud doesn't really give
Doesn't
him anything to really score with. And immediately John's going to be looking at getting rid of the F and the B,
Yep.
one of the T's, and on this board it's just not really going to happen, is it?
No, I mean you can play just sort of dump thub or something like that around the U, but it's a bit of a sort of Blair sort of move.
That's also really, really defensive, and it relies on you to score next turn. You need to be holding an S, and because you're not holding the S, you really don't want to be doing something like that.
Not really. Well, it's not. It's just not defensive. It's just like nothingy. It's a sort of like I can't be bothered to think what to do sort of move.
Yeah,
21.
Boot. I think it's pronounced boot.
Oh,
yeah. Unfortunately for John, Ellie didn't give him the floater he needed for 4 bits. Oh, Ellie is challenging Boe or Boet.
It's boot. I think it's a South African word.
Boot.
Boot. I think it's pronounced boot.
Boot.
Something like that.
26.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Ellie is pronouncing Boe like the champagne Boe. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
he's thinking about the celebration already.
Right.
So Ellie's drawn really well after his opening move of card. He's drawn 3 vowels and a blank. So his rack is nice and balanced now. The board is looking a tiny bit better for scoring as well. But he doesn't have the consonant that he needs to score 30 points underneath boot, as we've decided to call it.
Well, axe and hex and Koa looks pretty definite to me.
I'm not quite so sure, but
Yeah, the Y and the O and the A don't really go, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's
you're
an
talking-
easy score and you get rid of the duplicate A. So
yeah. For me though, it's always worth considering, other options like okay, 2 tiles, that's fine. But I'm going to consider like okay, let's try KOA, and then under the B you can put an O, an A, or a Y,
yes.
and then I just try and build the word up as I go along. So maybe something like Goa, GOA, while it gives more back, it also sets up your X. Potentially, it's probably going to go, but the likelihood is that your X will get set up 2 ways on a on a double word square. And AXY blank, I feel, is slightly better than YOGA blank. That's not a word, is it?
Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
remember that being a word.
Yeah.
I used to play Scrabble.
Pictures as an exhibition.
I
The
thought
sort-
YAG only
sort
took
of-
E,
Hut-
I, and S.
Baba Yaga.
Never seen it take an A before.
It's the hut of Baba Yaga. Pictures at exhibition. There you go.
Well,
Come on.
either way, it's coming
Okay.
off the board. Come on, Ellie, you need to learn your fours.
And he did that in the last game. He played Indicia, thinking of Vindiciae with an E on the end. So that's two misses he's made in 2 games that I've watched, which is disappointing for him.
For anyone really watching, a phony can have like a massive impact on the way not only you play your next move, but the way your opponent plays. You know, you've sacrificed, you know, potential 25, 30 points of a valid move. You've kept the same rack, and your opponent knows a selection of your letters. So John here will know, okay, Ellie's got YAGA. There's no bonus threat at all. It's just a case of, right, I just need to make sure that he can't score with this Y. But John will also know that Ellie doesn't have letters like a W on his rack, or a P, because he definitely 100% would have played underneath boot, you know, hooking onto KO as well. So you can make all kinds of good inferences from that. Not
Ellie's
that an
saying-
inference helped.
And Ellie is now saying, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I probably would have been a bit more defensive, because the thing is, I know here that Ellie is holding GAY. So he's going to score 30 points off of this
Regardless.
whatever happens.
And he doesn't know he's got
Regardless.
an
And like Quackle Speedy Player suggesting Fetor, Fetor, you know, that's bad as well. But definitely, you should always consider what your opponent has and how easy it is for them to come back after a phony. It's like, oh, it's just phonies. Now he's got an extra. Now he's got 30 easy points, or 40 in this case, because he's got.
Yeah, except that, you know, sort of playing for bots, he's always got a comeback next go. So
Yeah, Ellie's even holding the Y, so he's got comeback underneath. But see, after box, you know, it's going to end up a staircase as well, and top players tend to want to avoid staircases. They can be really cumbersome. A lot of top players aren't good at the defensive game. And, yeah, they need to get better at their defense. But now Ellie's kind of stuck, because what Forte has done is only allow AX to go underneath. You know, you can't make any more than that. And is it worth playing just AX? Because there's a really easy 30-point comeback underneath.
absolutely. Easy.
I mean, it's worth considering doing something like gay, because the G makes it harder to play underneath that, because you're limiting to O's, I's, and U's now,
Still a lot.
rather than A's and E's. So if you do want to try and, you know, make your opponent or limit a scoring spot, making it only I's, O's, and U's is a lot harder to play with than just A's and E's.
Well, why not? Okay. Put it like this. What about Boy and Cora?
Yeah, you could go the other way as well.
Yeah, I think Boy and Cora. He's kept the X.
And you're keeping the G for
he's
Boy.
not actually given anything away, and he still doesn't know that that John still doesn't know he's got an X. So Boy and Cora, I think, is better.
Yeah, and also you're seeing with the O and the G to hook onto the end of Boy. So Boy O and Boy. Boy also takes an S and an F as well.
Yes,
So
boy. What a stupid word.
I know.
Oh. Oh.
Dictionary's full of stupid words, but
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some scores up. Axe scores 47, Gay is 35, Yai is 34. And, is it worth sacrificing 12 or 13 points to be a bit more defensive, to stop your opponent scoring 30 points next turn?
Well,
I always say yes, but that's just the way that I play.
Well, from what you said before about, that he's in a bit of a fix because of the phony he's played the go before, I think he's really got to play YA again. Okay, he's done it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So cash them in. So oh, family can't have family. Sorry. And of course, why? And if he doesn't use that spot, he's got Boxy.
Yeah, but there's nowhere else to score on this board. It's an inevitability that John is going to play underneath, and that if John has a high scoring consonant like he does, he's going to score, 30 points here. Something like Fjord is a lot of points. It's almost 40 points. That's how many points it gives away. And that's kind of what puts me off from doing it, because even though you're scoring 40 points with the X, you're giving back 40 points, potentially. Yep. And, for all the benefits that those kind of tiles have, if you want to get into a scoring match, that's completely up to you. But the more your opponent is scoring, the more you have to score to win.
I think chess players call it a slugfest.
Yeah.
Which I think is a Scrabble word as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's kind of... It's in baseball as well. They have slugfests all the time. It's just like power hitting, going for the really big scores all the time rather than being willing to play a bit of defense and win because you've stopped your opponents doing something rather than doing something yourself. In a way, it's almost a defeatist way of playing Scrabble, because you're reliant on your opponent messing up some things and not being able to play on this kind of board. Oh wow, John's played short. I wonder if he's seen any of the 4-letter words that maximise the F. Like, I don't really see the point of playing short. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit odd, but he wanted to keep the E back.
But at the same time, there are there's only 2 E's on the board. There are still 9 E's unseen, and an E isn't everything. While it's good, it can be awful if you get like 3 E's there. So
yeah.
And it also gives like
he's got 3 E's. Oh no, he's got 3 E's. Oh no.
Yeah, and it's also what it does. Fade. The fad hook going down. You've got fado, fadey, fade, fads. It's another easy 30 points. And now the way Elias played this, he's left probably one of the best leaves that he could have left.
Yeah.
And now
it's
John
allowed him to claw himself back into the game, really.
Yeah, and he's not given away anything scoring wise back. There's no parallel that can happen. There's no really useful hook. So and I think
Emote. No, this is yuck. Ugh. Don't like that at all. Even code if he wants to open the board up. Mage and Max. How about Mage and Max? But then OEEST, yeah, it's not that good either.
There's not much really as an option here. It's just the fact that you're going to leave yourself an O or 2 E's, and I don't like just dumping on either. I mean, you're relying on a consonant pickup to pick up a bonus.
Well,
and
there's more consonants than vowels left, so
yeah, it depends how lucky you're feeling. I always feel that if I'm feeling lucky, I'll draw something, but I'm never feeling lucky.
Our internet just turned Greek then. Wow.
Woo! But Ellie's feeling lucky. He's drawn the second blank. Unfortunately, there's not really so much he could do on this board.
Well, no baits.
Well, he'd want to maximise the V, so it looks like he's playing Savaloy. No, Savoid. I don't know. Anything that maximises the V here is making cuts is
Well,
probably one of the best.
that's an R and a D, I expect.
Save it. Okay. Yeah, there are 37 sevens on this racket. I mean, I hope like there was something through the UTE. There we go. There was something through the UTE.
Maybe 312F.
Yeah. Avutoros. There we go. Come on, Ellie. You should be playing these tens like they're nothing. Avouteres. Doesn't hit the triple, but that would have been awesome. So, yeah, that is an R and a D for Savoured. And, because Savoured is such a defensive bonus as well, you know, it's closed off the top half of the board completely. And now John is sitting here with sevens that don't really help him at all. You know, and now he's got to see an 8, and he's got to look through the RED of Savoured and maybe even the D of Cuds. You know, it's just it's kind of painful that, you know, he finally got his bonus. He fished to get this bonus, and now it's blocked. And he's putting down one of the playable 8s in Stormen, also Sermonette. And Tindums also fits. So one of 3 bonuses. Ellie demonstrating the yuckiness of post-bonus racks very nicely.
Yeah, why does that happen?
Probably because, you know, we've just used up all our luck playing our bonus, and now we've got rubbish.
I always wondered.
Yeah. But amazingly, if Ellie had a floating C, he would have a very biological 8 in Lucitic. Now, my IB biology doesn't serve me well. I've completely forgotten everything. But
Leucitic. Yeah, Lucitic. Okay, as in leukocyte.
Yep, Leucite.
Excellent.
I think it's probably like a white blood cell or something in a white blood cell. But my biology failed me. Like, that's not good.
Right. So, meanwhile, John's
he's looking to split up his eyes, play the C and the U as well. I feel like something like Kunai through the end of Storm, and while it's really defensive, doesn't anything back.
I'll go with that.
You know, the leave is really good. And Ellie's playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. That's no worries about the Q still being out.
No, I mean it's too early to worry about it.
Well, he's got the eye anyway, so it's not.
I mean, in the back of your mind, you'll be aware that 2 U's have gone, but you don't need to worry about the Q until you've picked it up.
Yeah. Do you think anybody's listening to us, Jessica?
Only me and you.
Probably. It's actually quite entertaining.
Oh.
But these are, I mean, John's
+5.
John's rack is actually quite useful scoring.
Yeah, it's one of those racks that you know, it's really useful on a tight board because you know you're not going to bonus anyway.
Yeah.
So having heavy tiles is really good.
Yeah, it's like OY, YEH, and EH leaps out, or YU, YEH, and HE also leaps out for the same score.
Mhm. Definitely look at playing more tiles, though. It's always worth.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So something like Hoya, even Hoya, that will score more points as well.
Yeah, YAH and CH as well, possibly.
I would almost favour keeping the H around. It is the last H, and whatever happens, that spot will more than likely stay open.
Well, there's two sort of identical spots, isn't there? Identically scoring spots.
I mean, maybe it's worth just playing something like Yen. I don't know what kind of how people value keeping specific letters like this. I'd almost be tempted to. But that doesn't always mean it's the right thing to do.
No, it doesn't. Correct.
And, you could argue, like, if you're a defensive player, you'll be thinking, okay, if I block off, all these vowels next to the double word squares and keep the H, I'm going to have a scoring option that my opponent doesn't have. And, John is 42 points behind, and he needs to score and stop his opponent scoring, or limit the way that his opponent can score, because these options for scoring are running out on this board, just because it's so defensive.
Yeah.
And he's gone for Hoya, so that's probably the best score that he's got on this board. It does put him 3 points behind, and it does burn that H. So this is probably going to get blocked quite quickly. Again, even better. Now Ellie has 4 eyes.
12.
Yeah, City's easy. That's
Time
I would have considered changing 7 then. Actually.
I would have sat and thought about it a bit
kept the
longer.
eye probably. Kept the eye. Change 5, kept the eye.
Yeah. Because the thing is, it's not worth playing something like Titty for so few points.
No.
And still keeping a really awful.
Still keeping the 2 eye. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I was 216, now I'm 228.
Not a problem.
And you're 213.
Yes, I misheard you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes.
And if you take the points with ties for 26, you're still left with 3 eyes, which is a major problem.
Yeah. But the thing is, playing something like Tice, something like Tice is, in a way, it's really good because you're taking out a hotspot from your opponent. There isn't really much else on the board, and if you're going to change anyway later or now, take the 26 points and then, change next move. I mean, it's.
Yeah, Titty is
some players say take the points while they're on offer.
Titty is a nothing move, really.
Yeah, it does nothing. It keeps, spots open, or at least the hot spots that are open. You're not really sorting out your rack. It's got the potential to get a lot worse. And because it just scores so little, it's just not worth it.
Except pickups actually not too bad, but you're not going to score much with that Z.
On this board, anyway.
He's got Zit. Of course, he's got Zit.
Or Zit, yeah, but.
Yeah, so there you go. Zit. So.
But it is John's turn. So
it is indeed John's turn. And
so who knows what he
John is not exactly abounding in nice letters. He's got Elevon. Can I have Elevond? No, Elevond is not a word. Elevon.
It's got too many O's for that, unfortunately.
Too many O's. Far too. There's way too many O's in that. Yeah. There's an
So John's now been quite defensive. He's unduplicated his O's and E's, and he's taken out maybe the easiest scoring spot on the board. And he's also blocked Ellie's best scoring move, Zit or Zitting, at the same time. And it's getting more and more and more blocked. And
it's looking like the H is gone now. It's looking like, unless somebody gets us an 8 onto that D, that this board is going to be totally screwed.
Yeah. And that's just how players like me like it.
Meh.
Yeah, I can tell you're not a big fan of the tight board, and not many players are.
Oh,
You have to be a kind of
don't
evil
get me
player
wrong.
to do
Don't
that.
get me wrong. I would, if the circumstances dictated. However, it's just no. It's a bit of a faff.
It's painful to play on, but if you like making your opponents angry, then
Right. So what's Ellie going to do then? He's got some nice letters, but nowhere to play them. So
I mean, the best score on this board will be something like Res, through the E of Kunii.
yeah,
And the problem with that is if his opponent is holding an O,
yeah,
he's going to get an easy 30 points on a board where getting 30 points isn't
and also it tidies his rack up very nicely as well.
not very. No, doesn't. It leaves him 2 I's, a C, an M, and an L.
I meant it's if he does play Res and John plays Zoo, which is almost definite, then that tidies John's rack up.
Oh yeah, it will tidy John's rack up. Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go.
Well, he's gone for Mel, so he's not put the Z there. He's keeping the Z for something. Or Ziran. I don't like Ziran either. That's
No, you see.
But the players are trying not to give points away now. Ellie deliberately didn't play Les or Res
Yeah.
because he's worried about his opponent getting the points.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's not unreasonable.
And John's trying a bonus here. And I can tell you, I thought of that. I looked it up, and it's not a word.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know
It's a nice plausible type. It's definitely a plausible try.
I mean, you could be rivered. Why not be lagooned?
Can he be late though?
I don't know. I'm sure you could be laked. You can be laked.
Can he be ponded?
Ponded. Yeah, you can be ponded.
Oh,
You could definitely be streamed as well. I think that's what's happening right now. You could definitely be streamed.
so what other bodies of waters? Can he be seed? No, you can't be seed. And oceaned? No, you can't be oceaned either. See, so bodies of water don't really lend themselves to verbs very much.
It sounds like Ellie has accepted the mood though, and challenging it off would be a good thing as well. But not challenging it off really doesn't make too much sense because your opponent's got a bonus, and even though it's opening up the board, it's not like Ellie has a 70-point comeback.
He hasn't. I'm failing to see the logic of this, unless 5 points is neither here nor there.
Yeah, especially with the board as it is, 5 points means everything. But this bonus is 60 odd points, and that bonus is the difference in the score right now. And if the bonus comes off, both players are screwed. John's looking at the same rack, and he's stuffed. And you know exactly what John is holding, so you can just plan your moves based on what he's got.
Right, are we getting any feedback from anybody else? Because I think that's a very strange thing to do.
I could jump on Twitch and check what people are saying, but I won't see all the previous comments they said, sadly. So Ellie's kind of, I'm pretty sure this isn't a courtesy draw, because Craig would have let us know if it was a courtesy draw of some kind. And of course, with a courtesy draw, normally the tiles are supposed to be separate from the tiles on your rack. But as John had no tiles on his rack, then, the courtesy draw could go straight on his rack. But, I'm sure this isn't a courtesy draw. It's just been accepted, and it just feels weird.
Oh, there you go. Okay, anyway. Right, so the imaginary lagoon.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, what does Ellie do now? That's the thing. I just don't know what he's supposed to do other than play something like Kaz.
Yeah.
And close the board again.
There you go. Well, it's not that closed.
Yeah, but you're closing off the floaters again. And
Hmm.
that's not really the point of accepting it. Maybe
No.
Ellie just feels like because some bodies of water can be adjectived or verbed, then lagoon possibly can be verbed as well. But
I mean,
nah.
the seashore around Weymouth is very well lagooned.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's plausible. It's probably been used before in word speech. Looks like Ellie is lining up zinc here. I think it's zinc. But still, allowing lagoon to stay on, it just doesn't make sense why he'd like, I'm keeping lagoon on the board because I can play zinc. That's just not good enough.
No. Oh, well, with Zoic, I would have thought, actually, not zinc.
Yeah, Zoic. I missed that one. But still, you're not going to do it for 30 points. You don't allow something to stay on the board for 30 points.
30.
And he's got 2 R's as well.
Yeah, so, leaving lagoon to the board...
On how many levels was that a bad move? I can't... There's so many different things wrong with that move.
There are so many things wrong with lagoons just based on the kind of board that it is, because sometimes you've got to think, right, I'm challenging a move based on the board dynamics. If lagoon comes off, Ellie's in a great position. If lagoon stays on, Ellie's not in a great position. That was going to happen anyway. A challenge is not going to make a difference because John would then get 7 new tiles, if it stays on. And if it comes off, Ellie's only in a much better position. So you could only have good things from challenging that.
No, 5 points is neither here nor there for her.
And Ellie did say hold, and he could have spent a bit more time thinking about lagoon and what challenging it would mean and what not challenging it would mean. And it seems like he just said hold so that he could think about what he was going to do and then decided he wasn't going to challenge for some reason.
Anyway, back to the present time. John's going to play.
Did I go back in time?
21.
Oh. That's just defensive now as well. This is getting really blocky.
Yep.
I mean, of course, John could have taken the triple here, but he's still not scoring the same amount of points. It's just defensiveness galore, or defensiveness galore, as maybe it should be.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Something like galore is it takes the triple directly. Even if it's less points.
Yeah.
You just want to keep it maybe that bit more flexible. Even with a 40-point lead, you want to keep it a tiny bit more flexible.
Change 7.
Especially when you're holding the queue. Get sense. I mean, I get it, but the board's already destroyed.
Hang on, can somebody explain what's going on here? Why has he got no tiles?
Ellie just changed a lot of crap.
Oh, changed the whole lot, did he? It's changed
Oh.
all 7.
All 7.
I'm sure
Now,
he said
he does have terrible letters, so that is
changed
completely
7.
understandable.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can get fed up looking at the same rack for a long time.
But the thing is, changing 7 on this board, you can get either rubbish back or just stuff that doesn't go on the board.
Which is exactly what's happened.
Yeah, and we're going to get to the point where nothing is going to go on the board, and it's going to be constantly a reminder that nothing is on the board, nothing will happen, nothing good is going to happen. You're just going to end up looking at the board, wishing that there was an opening for something.
Yeah, we do that.
I don't get that either. Why not play the Q?
Yeah, where?
Just play QI and off the F fad. QI.
Oh, yeah, got it, yeah. Well, yeah, it's sort of a mess sort of move, but yeah.
I mean, you don't need to take the triple. There is no risk of. I mean, there's a risk of a bonus coming onto the triple, and that might be why John's considering keeping the Q at present, because the QI spot is not going to get blocked in reality.
He's now got queries on his rack. Obviously, nowhere to play it.
And Esquire.
Esquire, of course, indeed. Yes, queries and Esquire, but nowhere to play it. And not the slow hell of playing it. There's no possibility of making an opening. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. Drawing a bonus on this kind of board, a lot of players get, they get, so focused on bonuses that it stops them seeing other moves.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, I'm sure we've all had that point where every time we rearrange our rack, we end up coming back to the same word again and again, and we know it doesn't play, but we can't get that word out of our head. And on tight boards, drawing bonuses is kind of the worst thing you can do, because you won't be able to think of non-bonuses because your rack's just too good.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's Ellie's turn to think about this. And it's just not too great. I mean, his best score will come from hooking a Zoik.
Can you have Yulan?
Yeah, you can have Yulan. Yulan is probably fine. You just want to unduplicate things, get rid of the U, score something, because he is 50 points behind on a dead board. Is it really just that?
I would have played Yulan.
Thank you.
Well,
Because-
here comes
Well, maybe he's not sure. He doesn't know that John's got the cue. So maybe
Of course he won't know John's got the cube, but
yeah, I know.
that 100-point bonus.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, come on. Yeah.
It's like Ellie had to make an opening, and this was like the only way he could think of.
I don't think he had to do that. As I
Yeah,
said,
he
Yulan
really
could
didn't have to do that so soon.
have-
And now he's just even further behind, and the game is probably lost from his point of view at this point.
I would have thought so. I mean, you play Quilt. I would play that straight away without thinking.
Because I mean, Quilt it'll still put him 100 behind, and that's the problem. He'll be 100 behind.
Yeah. What's yeah, I don't think it'll be any better than that.
Yeah, and John's just gonna play a Jin here through the Eye of Clues, DJINN. Or
Yeah.
he really
Yeah.
doesn't have to worry about leaving something
have to do anything.
floating because
Yeah.
Eddie can't score enough.
Yeah.
He just needs to make sure he gets rid of the difficult letters, leaves stuff in the bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
3, 3, 6,
Uh,
4.
I would say that would be a shoo-in to play Jin. Or he could just play Jin.
Yeah, just
with
keep
both
the
Ds.
D.
Yeah. If you want
But
to
you
take, if you
don't
want to
really
take 3
need
weeks.
to. You don't need to keep the letter for a setup. I mean,
No, you don't. You don't need to in this game. There's 2 W's out, 3 R's, and 3 I's. It's like, the chances of picking up trash is quite high.
But the thing is, as well, if you deliberately, keep letters back for setting up like this, and it just ends up blocked, you've wasted the score you could have had for that tile.
So Jin was going
Why
to say
not?
DJIN, isn't it? I say DJIN would be pretty well.
DJINN. You can put 2 N's.
I'd keep the N and the D back. You got land on your rack.
But you're not trying for a bonus. You're not, the thing is, there is 7 tiles in the bag right now.
Mhm.
So by playing 4, there's 3 in the bag. Your opponent feels like they either have to play lots of tiles or play only 2. Usually. On this board, that's probably not going to happen. But if you leave like 3 tiles in the bag, your opponent can't usually do much with 2 tiles. Because subconsciously and consciously they want to leave 1 tile in the bag. Because it kind of messes up your endgame.
If you wanted to be super defensive, you could block everything off by blocking the ERI lanes, and then you'd effectively kill the game.
Yeah, but you can't block everything with the J. And you don't want to end up being stuck with the J.
Don't play the J. Just play something like Dad,
Yeah, but you want to play the J. You don't want to.
Yeah, I
You don't want to keep the J and not get anything.
yeah, just saying.
I mean, jaded is fine. You know, the chance of Ellie having something from the J onto the triple, it's not going to happen. The only
what
issue with it is it gets rid of your vowel, and that's what I don't.
What I was saying, he's done. That's fair enough. Basically, the E and the R were nice and open for two different 8-letter words. So he wasn't to know that he'd got the WWRR on his rack. The chances are he would, but I mean, there could be a universe where he could have actually got SINTEA retinas on his rack, and had the two R's and the two W's and the P's in the rack.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a big enough risk, especially with the E in that position.
Yeah.
You know, and even if Ellie did have retains.
Yeah, I know.
He's only going to score a 70-point bingo. You know, it's not the scariest thing in the world because you're so far ahead.
There you go. Playing with a different game now. It's chess. Chess now. Look, he's played prawn.
What's prawn?
Prawn is it's a little piece on the chess game.
Oh.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I don't make bad puns when I'm doing solo commentary. But I think John's pretty lucky as well that he didn't have the kind of pickup that he could have had from that bag. He drew AEIT, and he could have drawn WWPR.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't like Jaded. Even though it blocks the bonus lane, there was no risk, and because LNN is just so awful.
Yeah.
It could have turned out a lot worse, but it didn't. So who cares?
I think at the stage when John played queries, I think that was game over.
Yeah, that was easily game over.
And I was actually quite surprised that Ellie didn't play Yulan.
Or anything else, really. Something that wasn't so obviously trying to open something up. Like, why not just play, NA and Azoic? Why did he have to...
Well, that would have had the same result, really. That's why.
Yeah, but it would score less. It wouldn't have scored, and...
To be fair, it is easy for us to say sitting up here.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think I'd have opened that obvious a bonus lane just because it could get blocked a lot easier. When you're opening out a bonus lane that won't hit a double word score, players will be less likely to block it because the score potential there won't be so great.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably have gotten blocked anyway, just because, John would be trying to be defensive. But I mean, it was just not really the most impressive opening, and it backfired spectacularly.
And all because Ellie played Yaga.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of why Ellie fell behind in this game. He lost 30 points there from a phony, and as the Americans say, it gave John the tempo.
Yeah.
And really now it's just a case of playing out the tiles. John knows Ellie's not going to have a bonus with 6 tiles. And, it's going to take some kind of weird miracle for Ellie to win this game. And those kind of things don't happen in Scrabble.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes you do.
Just not this kind of miracle.
In your dream. Viatic. Hey, yeah? That's nice.
I like Viatic that takes an A and
yeah.
Aviatic.
Yeah. So it's Batic, not Viatic. It's Batic, isn't it?
No, Viatic takes an A on both ends. I don't know what dictionary you read.
Wow, that's good.
Aviatic and Viatica. Yeah. Anagram. of each other as well. So it's a fun one to know because it's got V's and C's in, which usually aren't good for bonuses at all, or you usually can't get them on the board because V's and C's aren't great for hooking anything. But then because the bonus can start with a vowel or end with a vowel, you've got the option to get it on the board.
One thing that we didn't talk about was when Zoic was there. There's the possibility of entozoic and endozoic. That would have been a nice.
I mean, that would be nice, but Metazoic, Protozoic, whatever.
Indeed, lots of zoic. Polyzoic. Hey, polyzoic's okay.
I mean, he wants to play aminobenzoic anyway.
Oh yeah, woohoo! That would be good.
But those kind of extensions don't happen, so it'd be fun. But
so, has anybody said anything different in the big wide world, or are we
I
just?
haven't been watching Twitch. It's just Craig talking in Twitch. But yeah, John
Was talking to himself?
Yeah, he's talking to himself.
Either way.
Endgames can be one of the most exciting and boring times of the game at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of slugfests earlier on. This is a bit of an anticlimax, really.
Aiming for the queue made the difference there. Is Lagoon good?
Right.
Oh
No, Snake, why did you
Well, it was
touch it?
that or nothing, so I didn't have anything to lose really.
Oh no!
Sorry, Ali.
Don't be sorry to Ellie, it's his fault for not challenging. I'm sorry, Ellie, but thank you, because I'm so good. And that's the kind of reaction you'd expect from not challenging a word that kind of really swings the game like that.
Football's like that. Football's like that as well. You
Is that on log for 14, so I thought I've got nothing to lose by trying.
Yeah, nothing to lose because. Why did you have nothing to lose?
Well, the alternative was to score 14
Oh,
from log, was the
right,
best I could
okay.
do, so it was a free shot, an extra 50 points.
I thought it was.
Unless you had a 9-timer.
I should have shown.
Yes, Ellie, you should have challenged. It's like Lagoons could only end up backfiring for Ellie, really. Because like John says, he had nothing to lose. You know, you'd rather try a bonus on this kind of board than score 14 and keep the board tight. And being 5-point penalty, there was always the challenge, the chance that Ellie was not going to challenge, that he'd just leave it there because, you know, the 5 points would blind him and make him sweat that he just didn't, you know, he wouldn't want to give up 5 points for challenging something that's probably so obvious.
Not letting him store man in. I'm not sure about quarter either. Saver would have been much better there. SAVORED. SAVOR. He wouldn't have got his store man. ST. Yeah. Yeah, that was not good.
So Ellie's basically saying if he played Savoured making Utes instead,
Yep.
the only thing is John would have still got his bonus anyway. You know, Teamdoms still fits as well. But Oh look, Craig's Facebook. Let's spy on what he's getting up to. Ah, he hid it from us.
Probably just well.
But yeah, there's no way you would not play Savard in that position. It's the best position, and your opponent doesn't really have as much of a scoring comeback anyway, unless they were able to get an 8 through one of the floaters. So
By the way, Craig, really, it's a pity you left.
Right. I wonder what the next game's going to be then. Let's look at the scoreboard. Right. I'm going to go. I'll be back. Bye, Jessica.
sorry, I can't hear you over the players. So even though the players are muted, I can't hear you. So all I hear is Ellie. That's not always the best thing to listen to, sadly. But yeah, that game really hinged on a few moves. It hinged on Ellie's phoning of Yaga. Because that 30 minutes. Lagoons was also a big one. And the whole and thing was a bit well, but there's really nothing you could do sometimes, But by not challenging the goon, that's probably where it went wrong further. Like Ellie's really upset by letting it go, because Lagoon is kind of one of those words that does look like it should be in, but because it's got so many A's and O's and E's, it just looks wrong and right at the same time. And but anyway, our next game has been Rick Kennedy and national champion Christina Shin. So we're gonna have some hype. So somewhere we're gonna have some hype anyway.
Right, starting up.
I'm a woman, man. I love moaning. Yeah, Craig is saying that basically, if I can't see the racks, I'll be moaning. Which is true, I will be moaning. But I'll find some reason to moan anyway. It's just the way I am.
Right. Okay, I've got no picture here. Have you got some, Jessica?
But the players are sitting down. They're putting the tiles away, and
Oh, shit.
and they will get underway. You know, as soon as all 100 tiles are back in the bag.
This is probably going out to about.
Okay, have we actually got an audience? Oh,
I can't hear you very well, Mike. You're just way too quiet.
Sorry, the laptop was on the other side of the desk. Have we actually got an audience, or are we talking to each other and that's
Oh,
it?
there's an audience somewhere.
You reckon? Well,
Yeah,
it's weird because we're not getting any feedback.
doesn't matter.
We're probably all switched off.
I know my mum did. She was watching earlier. She didn't. She said it wasn't very watchable.
Oh, it's the commentators that make it.
She's shouting at me now. Hang on. What?
Oh,
Oh, there you go. My mum's just shouted at me from downstairs that they're watching downstairs.
I'm sorry.
She can't say that in chat, so she'll just shout upstairs to me. No, I can't hear you! Jeez. So what happens when you live at home with your parents? They'll just shout at you across the house.
Ah.
While you've got headphones on, so you can't actually hear them anyway. But it's Rick to start, and he's drawn some very heavy consonants that don't really help him score terribly much.
No.
And the longest he's got is 4-letter words, and that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, probably Bart or Daft or something like that. Yeah,
Haft is probably the best scoring, but it does have 2 front hooks.
does. And MDN is not exactly a nice leave either.
But it's probably one of the best leaves you could hope for with this rack. And you're not going to change, because you could play 4 tiles and score 20 odd points. And there we go, 20 points for Haft. That's the best placement for Haft, because for the front hooks and that one back hook, you know, you're not going to get terribly much for it, so not so risky. And Austin has the same one vowel problem, but he does have a Y.
Yep.
And Y makes this rack even nicer because it acts like a vowel.
It does.
But it unfortunately he needs to play only a 4-letter word underneath Haft to really maximise his score. So something like Caney or Many will maximise his score. The leave isn't the best, and of course he would like to use the X. He'd like to maximise it better, but that's not really possible.
It's a shame that Maxi isn't a word.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the best option by far. And for some reason, it's lined up as well. But it's just not possible on this board. Austin has lined up May. That will play under halved as well. That is probably one of the better scoring plays available. And that would kill the board quite spectacularly. And I don't know whether it's just my presence on this commentary that's leading to these defensive games, but these players are playing defensively. And I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I think most people would have played that, to be honest. Certainly one that leapt out. I wouldn't worry too much about keeping the X, so long as there was a possibility of using it later.
Yeah, and keeping the C as well. You've still got the shaft hook option. Craig's just let us know that Austin had just about managed to avoid lining up almost all the letters that spelt out Man City. Because of course Austin is an Arsenal fan.
Of course, that would have been game over.
Cardinal sin right there of being a football fan. You don't fraternise with the enemy.
No, exactly.
But now Rick's actually really fortunate here. While he's not got an O, he's not got a C, he's not got an S. He's got an M. And he's played Dunham. With this being on Twitch, I was hoping that, or at least on, on some kind of medium, that one of the emoticon things, Putnam, would be valid. But sadly, there's no such thing as a Putnam. At least not yet.
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Oh, there's some kind of face that you can put in Facebook chat that's called Putnam. Oh, right,
okay. Fine.
Some kind of weird emoticon face thing. And it's called Putnam, but capitalised or just random. It's not.
Thing.
But Austin may be regretting not playing an extra consonant last turn because he's only got one vowel again. But there is that U of Dunham in the open, and just immediately I can see something like Brunt or.
Yeah, Brunt sounds good.
Or Brunt, that's it. Brunt. That's all I got.
Yeah, he could play Rax. Rax under Dunham. I didn't know Dunham, by the way. Yeah, it's a new one on me, surprisingly.
Dunham sounds like some kind of northern version of denim.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's see. Dunham.
Right, okay.
It's a unit of land area used especially in the state of Israel, equal to 1,000 square meters, or a quarter of an acre.
Okay. It's like an air then.
Maybe.
There you go. See? Cash in the points, why not?
Yeah, Rax is the best scoring option. It does set up your B for next time, but, 40-point play, 40-point play underneath as well. Board's blocked. You're only playing 3 tiles and you're bound to pick up 3 consonants.
Yeah.
Sadly. But I'm expecting Rick to just throw down vibe here.
Yeah.
I'm getting a good vibe from that play. Just a good one.
No, that's good. Can't see any better, to be honest. Although, I know you can't get anything. I was thinking and something with axe, but no, I can't.
Yeah, you need to do like something ending NTE, really, or NBE, and that's unfortunately not possible. Would be great, but it's not possible.
No.
So,
Fantasy Scrabble, maybe.
Or clabbers. Be possible.
Those things. Yeah.
But yeah, I just expect vibe here. Because it gets rid of the worst of the letters and scores. Can't do much better than that, really. No, he's moved vibe 1 along. I suppose because it doesn't put the V on the triple line, because that's 21 points back. The V's blockier.
Just as good, same, 1 point more, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, this is more defensive as a play, anyway.
Austin has now got rubble.
Well, he's in some Barney rubble, isn't he?
Yeah, absolute. So it's a change. Would you change 4, keep RNT, or would you
No.
just change
Change.
NT and be done? Okay, NTRT. Right.
Yeah. TR's better, but I'm not sure.
Various, yeah, TR or TN. Yeah, okay. It's moot whether which is the best. NRT is probably taking a bit of a chance.
Yeah, interestingly, Static Player is valuing keeping the C here, probably because of the shaft hook.
Yeah.
And I can't say I blame it, because
And
unless you pick an S, or
sorry to interrupt you, Rick has just had a similar heap of smelly stuff, so he's just changed as well.
I call it clunk.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, it's not good.
But the board is also not friendly enough to play off the clunk.
No, it is
You
not.
know, you've got to have the right tiles to play on this board, and that's just not possible at all, really.
Yes, S's basically.
Yeah. Or some kind of A onto the D of Dunham. That would be nice.
Yeah. Right. So there's somebody's thumb in the way of.
It's a D. It's a D. Austin, move your thumb. No, put the two. No, yeah. There was no 7. The only 8 possible was Trendoid, and there's no floaters on this board anyway.
Okay. Right. So both changes paid off, but there's precious little opportunity on this board for anything.
The 1/7 I can immediately see on Rick's rack. Try saying that 3 times. Rick's rack. It's Turgite.
Turgite, yes.
Yeah, and unfortunately that doesn't seem to play. Mostly because it doesn't have an S in it, you know. And the only other option for Rick to get a bonus down is onto the D of Dunham, and that's not happening either, is it? I mean, just because the G and the T's, and it's just ugly.
Yeah.
So
really,
the next bet is: do you fish, or do you try and make some kind of other opening?
Yeah, it's like, yes, great, I've changed. Yes, I've got some good letters, but this isn't a very good board for anything.
I mean, if Rick could know Austin's rack, he would play veg here. Maybe he would play veg.
Yeah, but veg is good. Yeah. It's sort of like there, but I would say, I mean,
but he can't see Austin's rack, so he would never do veg.
It doesn't take an S.
No, it doesn't. It's just an A or an O.
Yeah.
But
So it's going to be Tinders and halves or Tinders and shafts for Austin next move.
Yeah, it looks to be that way. And I expect it will come down fairly quickly.
It will become extremely quickly. There's very little other opportunity unless Rick has a Mindstorm and opens a 9 up.
That would be fun. But no, Rick here is probably going to make some kind of secondary opening for a bonus that doesn't require an S in. And because he's not holding an S, you know, even though he does have the blank, he'll want to get rid of the G, because that's kind of, you know, G's are really difficult for bonusing in. They're not the worst, but they can, you know, be just really annoying. And it's not really possible to play a 2-letter word with that G in. So maybe, I don't know what's really going to happen. Maybe he'll just play like ET.
ET and on
DE.
Yeah. I was just looking at that, actually, thinking, oh well, you know, I can't do anything.
Whoa, he goes for veg. Wow. Maybe by the fact that Austin just played off an O, He's hoping that he may not be sat with an A.
Ugh, I don't know.
You know, it's quite fortunate for him that Austin doesn't have the letters for the hooks. And Austin will be sat there thinking, screw you.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he takes more than 10 seconds to play this.
And Austin will fall in love with this bonus because it's a dating site.
77.
It is. There you go.
Now, unfortunately for Rick, he's drawn triplicates.
Pretty much the same rack. In fact, it's no
Yeah.
worse, isn't it? Ugh.
It's worse. Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
Well,
Top.
actually, it's kind of the same because it still has one 7-letter word on it.
Yeah.
Tektite.
Indeed.
But, Rick's seen Tektite.
Yeah,
It's
cool.
just unfortunate in a way because the 8s, you know, there's only 4 of them and you've got Catiest, Cuttiest, Tektitic, and Tektite. And Tektite does look like the only one that's going to play.
Yep.
Once again, leaving the veg hook untouched. I wonder who's going to take it first. I'm kind of sat here thinking, I don't think it will be Austin.
Hmm.
Because Austin's probably going to bonus now as well. He's got 1-7 in Sealery.
Okay.
And, you know, that plays. Hooking on the end of Nay.
And Todd as well. And Todd as well. Cedar
No,
in.
it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't know. Yeah, oh, sorry. I'm going cross-eyed. Yeah, I see it doesn't go. Oh, bother.
Oh, that's the polite way of putting it, isn't it? Oh, bother.
Yeah, indeed.
See, Sealery goes down. I don't think there was anything else that played. Easterly was probably a bit better scoring, and Yearly's as well. Yearly's maybe best.
Yeah, Yearly's definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
Easterly no. Yearly's
Although Yearly's is that's the Y next to the triple.
doesn't matter.
Better score.
Doesn't make too big of a difference.
Mm,
You know, your
well,
opponent's going to have to be quite fortunate to end a word in a K or an
Well,
you know, a 5-letter word in a K or an F.
well, he does actually have boink. He does actually have boink on his rack, so that would have been fairly fatal.
But I mean, you know, Rick's probably going to have the Vigo hook anyway. So what difference does it make if you're opening something else out like that?
True enough. I mean, he's going to play Bok.
Sealery does get a +5, but I don't think that brings it anywhere closer to Yearly's.
We're going to see Bok played very quickly.
Nays was challenged rather than Sealery.
Oh, no.
Which makes sense. My dad has told me that only certain ones ending in AE will take the S. And being Scrabble players, we always forget which ones it is. So,
So did he draw 5 points then?
yep, Austin got an extra 5 for the incorrect challenge.
Right. How do we add the extra 5? Is it added at the end or is it at the time?
Added on Quackle. It's
Say
just
that
a
again.
plus. On Quackle, you can just add the 5, but you add the points as you go along. Really?
Right. Does that happen in real life as well?
Yeah, when we play, you just add 5 to the score of the move. A
Add
lot
the-
of players just add
yeah.
it to the total score for the move. I tend to do the original score of the move +5, just so that, you know, if I want to do a recheck of the game, that, you know, I'm not like, oh, where did this extra 5 points come from?
Yeah, good point.
But Rick's taken the triple like we expected. He's played Bok, highest scoring option. You know, brought him to within 30 of Austin. And now Austin's not going to get to use that nice hook. And that WU combination ain't great.
It's disgusting. Ugh, hate it.
Austin's lined up my middle name. That's nice.
Yeah. Right. So. Ugh.
Yeah, he's looking to split up the W and the U immediately.
Of course.
And I think he's lined up Wairua. And that's neat 26 points.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I know my Maori words.
It's
Shocking.
it's kind of weird because it's a word you remember because of its unusualness.
I just remember it because it's the kind of word that all my opponents seem to challenge. They can't remember these words. It's their fault, really. And unfortunately, there's a blank there. Fucking unionize. How dare that blank be there?
Mm.
I mean, I first looked at the board. I was like, "Oh my god, unionize goes down," and then I realised there's a blank in the way.
Yeah.
I actually once I had an opponent completely miss the blank on the board, and they played like the stupidest word ever because they thought there was two separate words on the board rather than the blank. You know, because the blank separated out
Actually,
the
is there
numbers, and that's like so weird.
is there kind of rule like you've got? I mean, these are blue tiles, and you've got the blue double word and triple letter scores.
No.
And if your eyesight is not that good, a blank could conceivably look like another triple letter score, couldn't it?
Well, as a player, you could just request that you play with specific tiles because of your eyesight, and then if another player refuses, you just ask the TD, I need to see the tiles better, can we use these? TD goes, yeah, sure. And then the other player just puts up with it. You know that.
But it never occurred to me that it's a possibility that blank of Tektite, the S of Tektite, is, I mean, obviously it's several shades of blue different, but should those shades of blue become more similar, it's a bit like when you go to a football match and your coach is wearing the same kit as the opposite team and they pass it to the coach, and I've seen that happen in a football match.
Or it's a bit like Man United playing in grey and you can't see the team very well.
They did that on purpose. It was just amazing. Obviously
anyway, Rick played Iron Eyes for 50 odd points.
Anyway, going back to the Scrabble.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick maximised his Z. You know, couldn't get the bonus down, so he played it for 55 points.
Absolutely.
And he's only 3 points behind now.
Yeah, exactly. That was what you'd call a no-brainer. I mean, how did it rate in Quackle? Probably pretty high, I would have thought.
Yeah. And Austin has lined up Outgoer.
Yeah.
And, I can't see where it's outgoing.
Yeah.
So he's got to work out what else to do now as well.
Yeah. Nice word. It's got a Y instead of the E. Of Outgoer. If you change the E for a Y in Outgoer. Nice 8-letter word. I'll give you a clue. It's from the letter A.
I don't want a clue. I just want to sleep. But you can think of all these what ifs in Scrabble. It still doesn't change the rack that's in front of your face.
No, of course not.
So Austin's got to think about this rack in front of his face. And it doesn't look to be going so well. He's thinking about something, though. He may be thinking about playing Outgo above Iron Eyes.
Okay, yeah.
It's definitely an option. and an option he has decided to go for, or to outgo for.
So yeah, the 8-letter word with the Y instead of the E was autogyro, which would have been rather nice to play. Ugh. There's Nano Donnies, and I can't think of it.
Donnies is fine, and it also makes Ondines.
Ondines, that's right. I knew Ondines. I knew it.
Yeah, it's French.
Yes, I know. Isn't it something to do with clouds?
Yes, I believe so, because the water-type gym leader in Pokemon, Misty, her French name is Ondine.
There you go. So
We learned something about Pokemon today.
yeah.
Not that anyone cares.
They're deadly to electric Pokemon.
Well, weak to them anyway. But the most important thing on Rick's mind is not Pokemon, it's whether he can play any of these words on this board, and he can.
You can indeed.
That's all that he cares about.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's going to play Donnies above Sealery.
If he's seen it, he has lined up Ondines though. And he may not have seen Donnies.
He would have done. I mean, if I know Donnies, he'll know Donnies.
Well, you know, a lot of players like to move their tiles on the rack. They like to line things up in front of them. And you can generally tell when a player has or hasn't seen something, except for someone like me, because I rarely touch my rack. You know, I do all that shuffling in my head. So you don't know if I'm like lining up an 8 or a 2-letter word or like a 7 or a 6 or a 29-letter word. You know, who knows?
Yeah, the 29-letter word would be impressive.
I know. I've yet to fit like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious onto the board, but one day I'm sure it will happen.
It would.
So Rick, I don't think has seen Donnies. He's lined up non-side, which is not a word.
Oh.
He knows Ondines doesn't fit on this board, and it's kind of weird that he doesn't know Donnies, or he hasn't even considered it as a phony, maybe, or something. Who knows? The only 8s that are possible with this rack is Endirons and Miss Don.
Okay.
Not Miss Dunn, Miss Don.
Miss Don, that's it.
Or Miss Danae. You know, that may be French.
I would guess it's probably Shakespearean or Chaucerian.
Well, I can't be bothered to look up the definition. But then I do have my browser open, so I should be bothered.
So he must have some existential sort of crisis about Donnies then.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible because it's the kind of word that you just look at and you think, yeah, I'm just making this up because it's just the most obvious order for those letters, really.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know whether it's a sort of it's not mnemonic is not the right word, but something, a memory jogger.
Yeah.
So that you know that Ireland is not doesn't make anything or never used to.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I remember the word erosion with the word Roonies, of all things.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just helps you to see a word, but you then have to learn another word.
So onside is nice, but
yeah, but it's not the bonus, is it?
it is not.
Oh, it's a hold. Now, Austin could be holding because Maori words in the past
Oh, yeah, you're
haven't
right.
taken S's.
Yeah.
Whereas
And this one is actually valid.
Blair's fine.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
I'll take that.
No, yeah.
39.
Okay.
Now, I apologise to any Maori players for my mispronunciation of
I
Wairua.
know that, Captain. Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Now, a Wairua is a spirit or a soul.
Well, there you go. Well, so it's type of fish then.
I'm not even going to monster that.
Can you have Owler is okay, isn't it? It's Owler.
Owler, isn't that just someone that plays TWL? They're an Owler.
Could be. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine.
I thought I'd seen. I thought I'd seen it. So Owler would be a sort of like a shoe-in. I would have thought. It's very open, but it's.
It's not very open. It just leaves the R floating, and that's not a giant problem on this board. But the first thing Austin will do is make sure that he doesn't have some kind of bonus that he's missing, or that. So he'll be looking for a P or an N, which are the only two letters this rack can go with.
Isn't there something like ironware?
Yes.
Yeah. Not the
other one is air power.
Oh yay! Okay. Oh yes, of course. Wow.
So despite how horrible the rack looks, you should always
look.
Think about the 8s. Think about looking for the floaters. Eliminate those from your mind, and then go on to play something like Owler.
Go back to the one you first thought of.
Yeah. I also like War here. It is 35 points. It's a bit more defensive than Owler, and it also takes away a good consonant spot, really.
Yeah,
and Tripple's not too great a risk.
You're not going to get a lot for it, are you?
Yeah, and the thing is with the triple, only the F and the P, and if you're lucky, the V are going to make any kind of dent there. And in all likelihood, there's not going to be a massive dent off that triple anyway. And more likely, the score will come off that with the spot that Austin took.
Yeah.
So Rick's got nice letters. They're really good. They're good for scoring. I think that's what I say about every rack, but it's true. Unfortunately, no floating E for helpline.
No. This is a coded message.
I know. I don't know what kind of help Rick wants us to give him, but
No, I'm not sure. He's obviously he sent us a message. Anyway.
Yeah. So Static Player really likes LF here. Got down to the AFY rulers, and that's
LF where? Oh, I see. Yeah.
down to the AFY rulers, and that's really nice. Because it's more defensive. And it scores some more points.
Only one more. Only one more, to be fair.
Yeah, but defensiveness gets like style points from me and stuff.
Yeah, that's.
28.
Yeah, that kind of invited that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about help. If your opponent's got some vowels, they're going to play alongside it. They're going to score the points, and they're going to cancel out the score that you've got for help. And LF didn't really provide that possibility.
Right, Qual.
Look, Austin's pick up blank SJ.
Yeah, quite nice. Qual, I would have thought, would be quite interesting, although you have to take into account what's in the bag now.
Yeah, there's 12 left, and Rick wants to play a maximum of 4 because he knows that blank is unseen. He knows there are good letters in the pool.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to get caught with the J or the V or anything really. So Qual is an option. That
would be my first instinct.
It will allow 7-letter words down the side, and Rick may not be totally happy about that. But a quick glance around the board doesn't seem to provide much else.
Yeah. like sometimes moves are forced really. I think
Yeah, and
think
considering it leaves one in the bag, you know,
sometimes
he's
it's a good idea. Sometimes it's a good idea to keep the QU back, but on this board there's no real easy answer for Q. So
yeah,
get rid straight away, and you got 28 points for it. So
yeah, Rick's got to hope that Austin is holding on to that J.
yeah,
You know, that the P is the one in the bag, because
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
all right.
he may be thinking, hoping that the P is the one in the bag, or at least, you know, the S or the blank. You know, it's just got really hoping now that the J is the one on Austin's rack, because Austin would have probably bonused by now at the J.
I would say that I would say that without doubt, Austin would play JA, JO, and AR. That's.
I'm not. I mean,
I would
the thing is as well. You know, Austin's. You know, there's one. Austin can either play JA and kind of hope that he can somehow squeak the end game, or maybe he could just fish off the J, and maybe, you know, because the letters in the bag, you know, if he draws an E, he's gonna have Sani and a blank. He draws an I, he's got nice letters anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it draws a G, happy. It draws an N. You know, Insaner and an Insnare.
Yeah,
Which is probably not the best thing to pick up. Insaner does fit though, under Todd.
Well, I mean, it's basically if he plays JA, he's basically shown his hand. So therefore,
yeah. But the thing is, Rick also will know most of Austin's rack anyway. You know, Austin has to be close to a bonus. You know, he must have the J on his rack as well. So you know, if he fishes off the J, he's probably gonna have really bonusy letters anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, I think Austin's considering fishing off the J because spread is also really important for tournament Scrabble as well. And playing off the J, I would fish off the J off the O of onside, or even just play JO off the O of war, because you know your opponent's not.
He knows he's got the last A and the last blank, so so he knows that. But of course, as soon as he does that, then Rick knows he's got the A.
What A?
Not Rick would know that that Austin would have the A. If he plays J O on war, it's blooming obvious that he's done that, because
there's
otherwise
only one tile in the bag anyway. Austin's going to go out with a bonus if he just plays off the J.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, right. It's me thinking I was 2 in the bag. It's only 8.
There's only 1 in the bag. That's what I've been saying the whole time. You know, just fish off the J. You draw the P. You've got aspirin and AL off the L of qual, and you've got sparing down from helps. You know, Austin will win if he just plays off the J, because the chance of Austin winning from playing the J must be so good. I think the only thing that may screw him up is the V.
Yeah.
And
don't think so. Savarin. We haven't looked at that. No. Yeah, Savarin.
I did say maybe though as well, but yeah, even the V won't screw up Austin. No. You know, Avenir's and Savarin. You know, so I really don't think Austin can go wrong at all here if he plays the J. He may be able to predict the end games slightly differently if he plays JA, but I cannot imagine him not just playing off the J. The odds of having a bonus on your next turn is just too high.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, you've got an A, you know, because you've got reins and a blank.
Nice pen, by the way. Nice pen.
Yeah. I've got nicer pens at home with ducks on.
Oh, that was nice. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, Austin I don't know how much time Austin has left, but it is for him. It's worth considering. What could go wrong if he just fishes off the J? Because in theory he could lose the game,
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to do that. He wants to win.
defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes, I've been there, done that.
But
Yeah, I mean, what could possibly go wrong if you played JA? Let's have a look.
I said drawing the E, you're fine. Drawing the G, you're fine. Drawing an I, I think drawing the I is fine. Yeah, drawing the I is fine. Drawing the N is drawing the N may cause a little bit of a problem because
Don't think so.
yeah, I mean you will have snaring and you will have insaner,
Yeah.
but those can get blocked. And I think drawing the N. See, the thing is with drawing the N, Rick then would have to block both the bonus lanes for minimum points. And, you know, because he's blocking them for minimum points, if you put the J with JO above War, you've got 30 points next turn anyway. So. So I think only drawing the N really is what could go wrong for Austin. And the thing is, he should know the pool at this point. He should know that his rack makes bonuses with every single letter in the bag.
Well, conversely, he'd also know that that Rick hasn't got. There's no 7 from those 8, as far as I can see. No, I can't see one. Oh.
There's only one 7 from those 8. Heaving.
Leaving.
And that doesn't even go down, so. Unless you can have Pout go.
Ah, Palgo, yeah.
I mean, how could we forget about Pout go?
Okay, yeah. Be an interesting one.
But yeah, I mean, Austin has nothing to worry about here. I mean, I'm not sure why he's taking so long. For me, it feels like it's a lot simpler than a lot of these endgame kind of fishing decisions.
Perhaps he's overthinking.
Yeah, he could be overthinking it, and that's something that players can do sometimes. They can think too hard about what can happen, whereas sometimes you just have to do something. And, you know, it seems like Austin doesn't want to go for spread. But statically, this is the best play.
Right. Go on, show me.
No.
Show me.
You didn't have it. Sorry? You didn't have it? No, right. No, I had the liquid. Yeah. It's kind of fish, but I think not 100% win.
But, you know, Austin, I was 100% on fishing, so. So the only thing that goes wrong is he picks the N. And,
Oh.
no, wait. Does Rick have 100% win, or is that just, like, stupid play? I don't know what those choices were, but they seemed a bit dumb to me.
42.
I don't think Rick has a win, though.
What's Rick's choices then? Have we got a quackle up?
I don't think so, but yeah, Rick's choices would have to block Sniper and score, and that's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Mhm. So, in theory, I think JA was kind of the sure win. But fishing, yeah, if he drew the N, he probably would have regretted his life entirely.
Mm-hmm.
In the most unexaggerated way possible.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, even drawing the N, Rick then has to block. And with his letters, that wasn't possible, really. So. And Austin has lined up the wrong season. We are in winter. And we are at the winter match play. You know, not the spring match play, Austin.
Austin,
Get your tournament right.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Or is that spring? Lined up something else there. Spring or spring? Yeah, we'll just wait. I think Rick's checking here whether he does actually have a winning move or a potentially winning move, but he should be aware that Austin will just play out, you know, and he's got the S that he's going to be able to score points in next turn anyway if he manages to block the out. So it's kind of a lost cause on Rick's part here.
Sometimes it's worth playing on just in the minute hope that your opponent makes a stupid mistake.
But this is the current national champion we're talking about. I don't think current national champions make stupid mistakes.
Pride goeth before a fall.
Mm-hmm. So Rick is lining up Neve here. It goes above the Y of Sealery. It will block Spring.
Neve Knick-Knack is a Scottish game, Scottish children's game. Lots of Scottish children's games in the Scottish dictionary.
Now, I don't know any Scottish children's games.
There you go.
I don't even know any Scottish children. So
if you have a look at the Chambers Scottish Dictionary, there's some extraordinary games in there. I think I could be wrong. I could be talking about that total bollock. But Navy Knick-Knack, I believe it rings a bell.
Neve is Scottish dialect meaning the closed hand or fist.
So it would be a fisticuffs game then.
Well, maybe it's like, I want to shove my Neve in your face.
Well, they wouldn't have said it quite like that, but yes. Yeah, no doubt. Come back, Ray Tate, all is forgiven.
Yeah, I'm sure Ray Tate would know all of these Scottish things.
We miss him at Milton Keynes.
As he flaunts his I Beat Nigel Richards t-shirt.
Absolutely, yeah, and quite right. He so he should.
I still need my I Beat Nigel Richards t-shirt. But Austin is definitely going to play out here. He could play underneath Tech Tights. So just, any of these 6-letter words that fit underneath Tech Tights.
Yeah, but as I said, there is the possibility that he could have made a mistake.
And he could completely miss that spot as well.
Yeah, I mean, he'd say for example, he miscalled the blank or something stupid like that. Yeah,
it doesn't matter what you verbally declare it as, though. It matters what you wrote it down as.
Well, whatever. But if you screw up, it's a possibility.
Oh, it sucks to win a game based on a rules failure, though.
Oh, absolutely. But
I did that once, and I still regret it.
No,
I still hate myself for it. And I was 9 at the time. I regret it.
No, I'm with you on that respect. I don't mean a technicality. I mean, if somebody had spelt, if he played, I don't know, speeing as something spar and speeing or something like that, spienge, and he got the I and the E mixed up. Do you understand what I mean? It's not talking about gamesmanship here. I'm talking about he's actually made had a little sort of mindstorm and
Brain fart.
those things. Yeah, that thing also.
Yeah, but Austin's not that stupid. It's not going to happen. Like all of the static player options on Cockle, they're all 100% win moves. So I just expect one of these 100% win moves to get played, and I'm hoping it's Sprain. But I don't know why Austin doesn't seem to be thinking about anything. Or maybe he is thinking about something and...
Right, okay, look, I mean, I can see clearly there's not a, if Austin plays correctly, there's going to be it's going to be a definite win. But if Austin doesn't play correctly, has Rick got good out with GI?
I see 14 with GI.
Let me have a look. Well, I've got Lig for 12. Vig, yeah, Vig. Okay. So he's
14
got,
might be it.
Yeah. So it's not completely cut and dried yet.
Oh, but look, Austin's ended it.
And he misdeclared the blank as a O.
E. Maybe,
Yes.
maybe a Scottish person would pronounce it as that blank's an E.
Yeah.
And then you're like, is that an E or an A?
Yes, I know. Certainly in parts of Ireland, they have a very peculiar pronunciation of words.
After oath, pick up the S on the mic. See how it's quite near the end. It's kind of
So critical move in that game.
Is there anything else with Ondines?
I don't know.
I wasn't sure if it...
Ionize, I think. Once you got ionize,
Yeah. I couldn't...
it was too open really after that.
It was a combination of tiles.
Yeah, it's just a
Don't remember it being
generic sort of word.
No, perhaps I didn't realise that you didn't.
Have we asked
I'm not sure that you were going to leave the
Rick
S.
if he is he didn't
I
know
might
Donny's?
have said fishy or... no, I don't remember Donny's ever. Well, there are things. There's probably loads of stuff. I didn't want to not like.
It just means the hand, same as Danny.
It was quite a difficult board at the start.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I think I'm just fishing the J, but I think if I picked up the end, I couldn't bingo unless you block this. I think every other possibility I could bingo here or here.
Yeah, you could block it if you pick at the end.
Yeah, that's the only one. Yeah, that's that side.
Yeah, you still
Yeah.
win, but yeah, you can block.
I can still win.
You still win if you pick the end.
Do I?
Yeah.
So if I just drop the J and then.
Yeah, you still win.
Really?
I'll go through the sequence.
Probably lie.
Yeah, I mean the best.
Really?
You got Sinner in two places.
Yeah, you can't do
Oh,
this.
sorry, not let me.
No, because I have to
Quite
block you,
obvious.
don't I?
Yeah, I thought I bingo here, but I can't bingo here. So if you just play knave, then I'd lose.
You wouldn't lose, would you?
Yeah, I mean, if I picked up the N, yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Literally the only way.
Oh, that's well worth it.
That's why I spent so long. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll go for more spray.
Oh yeah, but you didn't get it.
Oh, exactly.
Scoring didn't
yeah,
stop.
Exactly, you stopped my scoring.
What?
You won then,
Well,
didn't
no,
you?
it was a
You get to do it all over again. Stay where you are.
what do you mean?
Just stay where you are. I know.
You're not popular.
You
I missed
get to do it to Lewis.
Well, I didn't miss Donny. Does not work. Did it come in when Danny's came in? Because Danny's came in at some point. Yeah, it wasn't.
I think Nate is new. I think it's new.
Yeah, this looks alright. I guess it's just plural, skull.
Guess so.
That was fun, right?
There you go. I do like it.
Yeah, we were screaming buddies.
In there. And then
Well,
zero.
no, of course I saw it on it.
Oh,
I
but
don't.
some of
I
us wanna go to the
don't
bar.
know.
We speculated
You've got
that
5
you probably
minutes.
thought that
That's
Dave
fine. 5
was
minutes,
saying
yeah.
why you remembered on
Yeah,
sides
don't rush.
on Deeds.
Okay.
No,
Deeds.
I just saw on Dean's and I saw Donny's, but I didn't think it was a word.
But it's like one of those word pairs on Deans and Donnies. It's like, you know, Dampish and Phasmid, you know.
So it's just like
And when you are ready, it's table 3.
Okay.
Great.
Cheers on
well done.
Cheers.
It's an enjoyable game to watch, actually.
Sorry?
It's an enjoyable game
Oh.
to watch. Feel the
How about
sweat. Analysts, the Quackle,
Screaming Donny's.
Quackle, yeah, can you hear me? Quackle recommended Aleph.
Was the help rack? Oh, right.
There's only another point.
Yeah.
There's one more point, but it was,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it doesn't-
didn't open the
It doesn't
treble.
give that away.
The triple.
Yeah, maybe play that a bit fast.
Right, okay. There's one trial missing.
No,
There you go. You see, and that's the other thing we commented on, because the tiles are blue, and they're sort of, in certain lights, they can sort of fade into the triple letter score. You see what I mean?
It's always
You
a
got
problem.
blank.
It's always a problem.
Yeah, right.
Too much glare.
Maybe I'm overthinking it.
It's because the leaves on the line thing. It's
Yeah,
it's 'cause
maybe,
you're
yeah, maybe.
the real ways.
So who's starting?
I think it's right. I'll just double check.
Alright. Saves you moving if you start.
No, missing things he knows, and I'm not.
Yeah, it is right.
But not the missing things, but spotting things that you don't know are words. There's not a problem. You should just learn more words. When you're again?
I did. Yeah. I played Blondine on sort of a double, thinking it didn't take an ass. It also takes a D in the end, which I didn't know.
Oh well.
I knew the D, I didn't know the two yet.
But neither of them got used, or Ellie didn't know. In fact, Ellie didn't think Blondine was good either. So.
I
No,
don't
they
know
found-
what it means.
I don't know what it means. No, I thought it was an adjective, but obviously not. That's weird. So,
It means
Blondine,
actually
to bleach the hair blonde.
right. Okay. Done. Could have been embarrassing. Shuffle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for the final game of the day, we have Rick Kennedy again, and we have Lewis Mackay. So, players look ready to start early. They want to get today over and done with. Go to bed, have a nap, all that stuff. And it's Rick to start, and you know, he's got a V, but he's not got the nicest selection of letters for his rack. Maybe Vang, V-A-N-G, is one of the better options. It clears up, you know, all of the letters he doesn't want. Is he listening to me? As soon as I say that, he lines it up. And Lewis has drawn a bonus. He's drawn 3 actually. Retired, retried, and tireder. The latter of which describes me. Tireder. But immediately Lewis can tell he can't play through. He can't play any of his sevens at all, really, because Vang is just so limiting. If only we could put like that town in Essex, I think Bange, but no. He's lining up trendier though. Only the N and the V give 8s. The V gives Diverter and Vertitor. And the N gives Trendier and Interred. So, Trendier looks like the best option of the bonuses here. And I'm sure Lewis will throw it down on the board as soon as I start to mention he'll put it down. And Rick has found himself with a blank on his rack and the Z, and like 150.9 time ago. Oh, sorry, 150 point double going on here. Oh my, oh, that's so painful. I mean, look at that. Craig put in the wrong rack there. I do that all the time. Oh, look, 130 big ones. That must be, like, upsetting. More than upsetting, like, I would cry. And I do that. But that's a lot of points. In some ways, maybe Diverter was a decent move as well. Because it did score a few more points, but, you know, trendier. And Lewis somehow is down a bonus after playing a bonus.
That's excellent. Right, I'm back. I just went for a comfort break.
Yes.
Indeed.
Lewis may need one of those now that he's just seen Rick plonk down dozens for 130 points.
That's a marvellous move.
The only bonus and probably the most painful that has been played.
Oh, yeah, I'd say that's pretty impressive.
So now Lewis has got to find some way to come back from this somehow 80-point deficit. Somehow has just happened, just
Well,
like that.
80 points is really not a huge amount at this stage of the game.
Yeah, but you never want to come back from a deficit, you know, because, you know, Lewis will have to play a bonus at some point. You know, most bonuses typically will get around 70 points. So Lewis will probably need another 2 bonuses or just outscoring Rick.
I would say Waff under the
Who are you calling an idiot?
Waff under the OZE of doesn't, probably.
Lewis may want to play more tiles here. And he may not want to give such an easy 30 points away by playing Waff like that.
Okay, I know you can have a foot warmer. Can you foot warm?
No.
Ah, oh well.
Something that sounds like a disease is footworm.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's
horrible.
also not a word. But,
No.
you know, I don't want footworm. I don't think anyone wants footworm.
No, but failing that, Waff I think is just glancing at the board.
I like Root though, WROOT. You know. Or maybe I think Mofo is probably slightly better than Waff.
Waff.
I mean, here we are insulting each other. We've got Waff, we got Mofo. I mean, what other kind of insulting words are we going to come up with now? Frown. That's not very insulting.
No, that's probably the best move. Didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't even looked at the end.
No,
Shocking.
I haven't done that either.
But Frown is way better. Way better. and it cuts his behindness, you know, his deficit
So
by.
to speak. Let's be polite about this.
Yeah. Maybe I should try and think of words before I say them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it cuts his deficit by 40 points.
Yeah. Behind us doesn't sound right.
Well, you know, this is Scrabble. We make up words all the time.
Yeah. Now Lewis has got Lomius, of course, around the E. Next move.
But it's Rick's turn.
It is Rick's turn indeed. I'm looking ahead. Rick,
Well, you know, we shouldn't do that as commentators because stuff can change.
Great, I can hear talk.
as in life, indeed.
I presume that's the commentary. I can't hear what they're saying, but I can hear sound.
I can hear sound as well, and it's
So
just me.
Apologies. I'll move the. I'll be quiet.
No, it's not about us being quieter. It's about Craig turning his volume down. So that's it.
Send our apologies if it passed through.
You know, maybe I should speak louder. Just shout at Lewis. Send him like telepathic thoughts. Maybe that's what he's hearing. Telepathy. But Rick is lining up the word claw, and immediately that just seems to be one of the best scores, one of the best plays.
Yeah.
Gets rid of what he wants. Oh, Malik can claim probably score slightly more, but he does want to prioritise getting rid of that W.
So 90 for Lomius. I'll go down without a moment.
You're way too quiet now. I can't even hear you.
I've been trying to be quiet because I wouldn't like them to hear my commentary.
Yeah, but if I can't hear you, then there's no point, is there?
No, that's true. That's a very good point, actually. I hadn't thought of that. But we should be like, you know, those snooker commentators that just sort of kind of whisper.
Yeah, but snooker commentators speak the same volume. You know, I'm not anywhere near the playing room, so I can speak as loud as I want. In theory.
Right. Okay.
And
So,
Rick has one of the most beautiful Pokemon on his rack. Not that that helps him, because you can't have this Pokemon in Scrabble.
okay.
Yeah, no Milotic for you, Rick.
Oh, Milotic. Okay.
And if anyone wants an image of that, they can Google it. Only 1/7 on Rick's rack. That's domicile.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it plays, but there are 10 8s. I can imagine one of these plays. Somewhere.
Micro something.
No. Nothing with the F, nothing with the R, nothing with the O, nothing with a C, nothing with the A, nothing with the... Maybe it doesn't have anything after all. And of course, Rick will be looking for that bonus. First of all, he'll be looking at all the floaters, and he'll probably be thinking he doesn't know any of the words that go around the floaters because he doesn't know the word Donnies.
Yes, indeed.
So he'll definitely be looking to unduplicate the I's. First of all, and getting rid of maybe the O and the C as well. Or maybe MIC and O. Myco, that's a decent amount of points.
Yeah, Myco, yeah.
And you know, IL blank is really good. Myco also has the advantage of opening up a 9 timer, so if by some miracle Lewis didn't take it, you know, he's got a shot at a 9 timer.
Yeah.
That's probably better than Myco though.
Oh, I quite like that.
I mean, I'm really not seeing much else.
Hi, I'm back.
Good, because I don't like hearing myself echo, and I can hear myself echo, and now I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Point. Is that one of those Pokemons I heard?
No, it was me.
Oh, right, okay. I just
No, I could hear myself echo, and I don't like that.
No.
But, yeah, I'm sure Rick would love to play above Lomiest, but that's not possible with the vowels he has. He's lined up, in my opinion, and then some other letters. And, that probably doesn't work out so well. But this board is really hard. There's not much going for this rack on this board. It'd be cool to see the other choices as well, because I'm not really seeing so much else. Just because it is a really hard situation, and I wouldn't blame Rick for taking a lot longer than he is. Because he is also thinking of a bonus, or trying to find a bonus. And I have the benefit of an anagramma to work out if there is or isn't a bonus. And I know there isn't, because I looked it up. Do you know what else there is other than Maiko? Maybe like playing coil above doesn't, if I can even say that word without sounding like a snake.
Huh.
You do sound like a snake though when you say it, doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I hadn't thought about that, but yes.
Well, you know, this is commentary. You got to make it sound fun somehow. So.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you should sound like a snake as well, and also say doesn't.
Doesn't. Yes. The police dismiss us. No, I can't say it. Right. Skype. There we go. So, what did you play in the end?
Maiko statically is simming best, and then Milo. Yeah, Maiko is just coming out as best because of the leave, I think, and the triple opening. But there's also not much scoring option.
No.
So you can tell, like, most moves are scoring low 20s. Maiko is the best scoring. Limo is coming out best.
Limo from where?
In the same place as Maiko.
But
like the win percentage is like tiny bit more. Different words are coming out best now with more iterations of the sim. I think Maiko is going to come out. But all the moves are pretty close though. Like all the static moves are within like 3% of each other. But there are all these 20-point moves that are starting to sim best. So, and at least it proves there was no bonus in the first place. It's gone for Milo. So I think this means Rick doesn't know Maiko. And,
maybe because we've got the blank on this track, he values the C more than the L.
no, L is better by far.
Thought you'd play that. Kuti is far superior move.
Yeah, it'll be the best scoring. It has the best leave.
There's 4 U's out. So.
Yeah, there's not much else to consider there. From Lewis. But I think fortunately for Rick, he doesn't have a 9 timer either way if he played Maiko or Milo. So he should be fortunate. Hopefully. But now he does have bonuses that will play.
Yeah.
At least I think they play.
What, piercing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
PRC.
piercing. No, I was just looking at the 7s for now. You got penicil, piecing, and piscine. Through the R, you've if you like geography, you've got the latter half of Sao Tome and Principe.
Oh yeah, okay. It's very, very good. Huh.
Got Principe.
Yeah, I
Sounds-
didn't know that was a word.
Well, how often are countries words?
True enough, yeah, true
Says
enough.
the person that knows Japan is in the dictionary.
Yeah,
Principe, a prince. It's Italian.
excellent.
Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. My dad will be ashamed.
Indeed. Right.
Principe also hits the double word square, which
It
is
does indeed.
it's always good.
It is always good.
Get some more points right there.
Yeah.
Because Rick does have the P and the C on his rack, the F is kind of a no-go
Yes.
for him. You know, he really shouldn't even be thinking about that F making anything. Because when you have a load of difficult consonants that don't really go together, you shouldn't really be thinking about putting them together.
No. P's and C's and F's and G's.
hmm I think Principe may be the best here.
If you can see it, it's easy for us to say sitting up here with access to word lists.
Yeah.
Not that I'm looking at them.
Yeah, I am. But no, I wouldn't even I don't know Italian at all, except for like my numbers, which I taught my dad about the other day, because you can have up to 600 in the Scrabble dictionary in Italian.
I thought there was an infinite number of numbers.
No, as a multiple of 100, you can have each multiple of 100 up to 600 in Italian in Scrabble.
Fantastic.
So, all the Principe is coming out best, followed by Pecorini Epsilonic. That sounds fun.
Oh, that's nice. That's pretty.
Piercing being the worst of the 5 bonuses, just by score though. But
It's quite a defensive move though.
yeah, piercing is quite defensive, and the G is obviously quite awkward there. And to try and make the word end in O or U to get across to the triple
That's
is also really difficult.
not going to happen.
Principe also doesn't take an S. I don't know if I said that or not. So if you knew about Principe and you're Italian, and if you knew it was Italian, you may be familiar that it wouldn't have taken the S. So you could have caught your opponent in one there. But anyway, Lewis
going
is...
on about this, but look, if you look at those tiles, those tile colours.
Yeah, I can't see the blanks very well.
Yeah.
Like, I forget they're there.
Blank sort of fades into the board, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like I know that there are blanks there, but I feel like they're kind of trying to like hide in plain sight.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe in real life that wouldn't have such an effect.
Yeah, because we don't get bird's eye view of the board usually.
No.
But anyway, Lewis's turn, and he's not really got the best in the world. He's got a V, and he's got some duplicates, and he's looking to get rid of the V and the duplicates, and it just doesn't look like it's totally possible. The V is kind of really annoying because there's nowhere to really put it on this board. And there's no easy way to kind of get rid of it either. You can't really use the M of Milo to go up or down to the triples using the V.
No.
So
I would perhaps think about like Vital around from 14B, Vita.
just
VITA.
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 Yeah, I mean, I don't really like Vita because it takes E, L, and S, and there are tons of E's left.
Yeah, good point.
And you wouldn't really want to give away a scoring
No.
option that
Actually,
simple.
no, not with the scores relatively close like that.
And Lewis is probably
So-
not looking to do
so
something
how about-
so aggressive yet.
How about just Wat and Zar? Wat, TA, and Zar.
I don't like leaving that many consonants. Craig's pointed out Merv is probably the only V play that goes all the way to the triple.
Leaves him
But
two
yeah, that
Ts.
leaves 2 T's, 2 A's. It's not the best.
No.
Yeah, playing something like Tat or Tar underneath doesn't. It's probably one of the better scoring plays that unduplicates all the letters that you want to unduplicate. Unfortunately, it does keep the V, but it looks like that may have to be an option here. And it may be something Lewis has to do.
18.
He plays Vita and Anchor, which I completely missed. Yeah, it doesn't give anything back except a 40-point Q spot. And it's really not that bad at all. He's drawing 4 tiles, he's bound to pick up an E. And it's bound to look nicer. Look at that nicerness on his rack.
Yeah, that's quite nice, though.
Yeah, compared to the unniceness of Rick's rack.
Oh, it's in fact no. Yeah, I know which I prefer.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Good.
And yeah, Rick is definitely looking to get rid of one or both U's, and immediately I'm thinking of Unao. That either plays completely parallel to Milo.
Oh, it does. Oh, super. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
As opposed to playing it on the triple word square along the top row on the right. Playing
Of course,
it.
but playing that absolutely guarantees it's going to get the Q next go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's given.
But playing it under Milo, while it scores more points as well than playing it in the top right, it also kind of limits Lewis's access of what he can play to the triple as well.
Yeah.
And he's not able to play as freely through the M as he otherwise could do.
No.
And it's always something to think about. While Lewis would only have to play 6 tiles to play a 9 timer. That's a really unlikely. MU isn't the nicest 2-letter word to play through. Rick is lining up 1 here.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that go? Don't like that. Versus Unao, I would keep the Y for scoring potential.
I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking, well, we're more than halfway through the game, and still no Q. I know
This point, though,
it's not what it used to be, but if he actually picks it, it's actually quite nice.
he shouldn't be worried about it just because there are lots of eyes open. There
are indeed
4 eyes open to play the Q around, and they're not all going to get blocked at once. So he shouldn't be worried.
Yes, this doesn't survive.
Even though he drew the Q, he shouldn't be worried about it.
No. Oh no, it's not a worry thing. It's a benefity sort of thing from it.
But now Lewis has got almost bonus letters. They're close, but no cigar. And if there was a floating O, he may describe this rack as a teraflop.
Oh, excellent! Yay, lovely.
The other,
Which is actually a good thing, not a bad thing.
yeah, teraflops must be a good thing.
They're definitely a good thing.
I mean, hopefully they don't mean like hundreds of thousands of flops.
That's exactly what they mean. In fact,
Because do you know what a flop in
thousands of millions of flops, actually.
Yeah, in computing, a teraflop is a measure of processing speed, consisting of 1,000 billion floating point operations a second.
That's exactly what I said.
Yes, and flop coming from floating points.
There you go.
So maybe Craig's computer needs some more flops.
I think he was saying that earlier on.
Just needs some more flops.
Yep.
But anyway, the other 8 that Lewis can't play is Prattville.
Oh, right, okay. Wow. That's just such a silly word. So coin without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the best things about 1 was that it did kind of distract attention away from the lower left side of the board.
Yeah,
And,
that's true enough. It's true enough. I'd be interested to know whether Rick, in the back of his mind, actually hoped to get the cue.
So a pratfall, probably predictably, is an embarrassing mistake. Or a fall onto your bottom.
That's right.
It sounds quite similar to a teraflop.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's back to Lewis, and he now finds himself even further down than he was before because of Quine.
Not that it'll go, and not that it's that's good. Not that it would have gone, and not that it would have been scored very much anyway. But there's a folk group called Planksty, and I quite often think that names could actually be words. So if Planksty is a word, I don't think it is. So, well.
Yeah, and the Flaxseed catches Lewis right up, just like that.
Yeah.
Now the scores are
So
almost
Lewis is right
tied.
back in it now.
Yeah, scores are almost tied, and all those S's unseen may be worrying to Rick. But no, he's got a big J play.
So we've gone from a cagey blocked game to a slugfest now.
Yeah, lots and lots of high scoring power tile moves.
Yeah,
You know, you got the X for 50, the Q for 60, the J for 70. Next thing you know, the Z will come out the Z scored 130. I mean,
and there's more hot spots than a belling stove.
yeah. I mean, Lewis has also got bonuses now. He's lined up Postine. He's also got Pentos, Openness, Potines.
Yep.
Unfortunately, OBY isn't a word.
Huh.
I mean, he'd happily play Potines there for so many points.
Absolutely.
No. And, yeah, I think he's constricting.
I think you can't have Pentos, can you? It's Pentays.
No, it's Pentos. It'll be a 5 carbon sugar. Pentos.
I thought that's Pentays. Okay. So
No, Pentays would be an enzyme. Pentose is a sugar.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
thanks.
I remembered some of my biology.
Yeah, indeed. I sort of remember it from a long time ago.
My long time ago was like maybe half a decade.
My long time ago was about half a century. Yeah.
But Lewis is going for Postine, and that's just because it doesn't put the S between the triple lines, and he doesn't want to put the S between the triple lines. You can't even have Pentays either.
Really?
No.
Good grief. Right.
So you're making up words now. The poor stream is having to listen to you.
I do apologise, dear listeners. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, they put up enough with me making up words. Now they have to put up with you making up words.
No. Well, the late Graham Thomas was always outraged that sciencey words were often not allowed.
Mm-hmm. And Rick is probably a bit shocked that his combined 144-point power tile moves somehow been countered, and now he's only got a 3-point lead.
I know it's quite the ending, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now there's only 7 tiles in the bag, and Rick's looking at a board that probably isn't going to have another bonus on it. And he'd like to take the triple here as well. I mean, I said it's probably not going to have another bonus on it. Looking at what's left, it's very vowel heavy.
It is very.
So would you consider something like housing, Hausing, through the N of Postine?
Or housing?
Housing is a worse idea because there's still an S on scene, and housing will take an S. And if Lewis is holding the S, you're in big trouble and you've probably lost.
Good point.
And housing doesn't take the S or any N hooks, so is a bit of a better option.
You could always fish.
I don't think it's worth fishing. I mean, you've got the triple lane open. And, there are 7 tiles in the bag. Lewis could have anything. You don't want to fish, have Lewis play a bonus, and then you're not able to now fit a bonus on the board.
So actually, it's not quite as cut and dried as it looks, because, yeah, it's some interesting possibilities there. I think Rick has got to be very careful here.
I mean, it's possible Rick may choose to play something like a Aguish, Aguish, making Oda down the O column.
Mm-hmm.
That scores a decent amount of points. 37 to be precise, as I stare at my mum waving at me. She's listening to my commentary somehow. And
say hi from me.
Maybe she'll hear your hi from you without me having to relay it.
Indeed.
But I mean, one of the things is Rick can play 6 tiles, so even if you play something like housing or Aguish. Oh, he's gone for housing.
There you go. So that's quite a bold move, really.
It is, because it can backfire quite spectacularly if Lewis has the S. Because, Lewis has the S, that's 50 points.
Yeah.
And, Lewis would no doubt play a 5-letter word ending in S. He's going to have 3 tiles on his rag. You've got 7. And, Lewis could win the game after housing, and that's what I don't like about it.
However,
Rick does have the S. So now he doesn't have to worry about it. And Lewis does. And Lewis being 39 points behind, knowing he doesn't have that S as well, possibly feels the game is now lost.
Yeah, because he's basically got 3 rubbish tiles.
Yeah, it's not just that he has rubbish tiles, he doesn't have the S. And, if he had the S instead of an I, he'd play Dobies here, that would score like 60 points, and he'd, run away with the game, I think.
Yeah. At this stage of the game, when you do play a lot of tiles, it kind of draws a lot of the sting out of the end game, a lot of the uncertainty, and it's sort of like it puts your cards on the table, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he's, it was a. I don't think I would have done it, but I mean,
if I could have, I would have done. If I knew housing, I would have done housing over housing.
I didn't know housing. I know a horse is a mountain pass in the Lake District, but I would not have said that horsing would be plausible.
There are a lot of words that exist in the English language that you can have without the ing, and with the ing, but you can't have the ed variant.
Yeah.
Don't know if horse is one of them. Horse isn't one of them. So horse seems to be a noun of some kind. Oh, don't do this to me, Google. Don't give me howls instead of whores. Whores is the Scottish variant of howls. Okay,
wow.
What is howls? Howls. A Dutch portrait and genre painter. No, that's not what I wanted.
Oh, no.
I don't want some painter guy.
So, MIDI. Yeah, he's really, I think. Oh dear.
Yeah,
So
Lewis
he-
is really stuffed here because the only way
He is
he can
stuffed.
kind of block the triple is by playing something that still gives Rick access to the triple.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
We can't even have howls in Scrabble. What is this? How can you have a word that's a variant of some other word that doesn't even have its own definition?
How about something like Dieb, D-I-E, an odd and Dieb?
Yeah, Diab sounds fine. It would mean Rick could only stick the S on the end. Unfortunately, Lewis would really be opening himself out to only being able to, because he's only got vowels. He'd hope to
Yeah,
drop
and
consonant.
he would have 4 vowels left.
Mhm.
The last letter of the bag is the E, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the E.
That is so rubbish.
Yeah, and just by sticking the S down with housings, that's 36 points. Lewis can't score enough.
No.
And static player's choices, it values biocide quite a bit ahead of the next option. And I must admit, Quackle static player, you should never start killing things just because you've lost a game of Scrabble.
No, indeed, but nonetheless, I think justified in this case.
Yes. The one-time biocide is justified.
Absolutely.
When it loses you a game of Scrabble still.
Yeah, it's still 0% win. But the 0% assumes perfect play. But in this case, it's pretty obvious what the...
Oh look, somehow it's giving Lewis a 5% win after biocide. I can't imagine there's anything more than a 0% win here. Quackle must be playing silly poppers with us.
Is he going to play... I can have Agras, A-G-R-A-S. I'm imagining it.
You're imagining it.
So Rog is...
Agars.
Agar, oh, of course, yeah, Agars would do.
Yeah. But really, it's just a case of Rick playing anything there. I can imagine Lewis is going to consider trying to block it. Maybe he's going DEI or DIE. Maybe hoping beyond all hope that something...
Or just Deg. But then he'd have rubbish. Well, hang on a sec.
But Deg still allows housings. So,
Yeah.
anything that still allows housings, a 36-point play, is still not very good equity-wise.
Okay.
And score-wise.
Knowing for sure that the E is left, suppose he played TEE. Yeah, housings is still going to be such a powerful move, it doesn't make any difference. But supposing you played DEE, TEE, played 2 E's, and picked up the last E, then you'd have biocide as an out.
It still wouldn't win in the game.
It's still not going to beat housings. So
I'm still not sure what Quackle's thinking about this 11, 12% win chance after biocide. Like, are we just hope? Like, oh, Craig, you accidentally submitted it. He may be going through the end game for us to try and work out what the bio side win is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like there is like a really minimal, like a really weird win after biocide. But that would rely.
Well, I'm just trying to think.
That
Okay.
relies on the S being in the bag.
Okay. So
That's the
Agar
12%.
scores what? Agars and Housing scores what?
2
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 point misses. To 66. So 66, 486. But if he plays Z, which is 14,
I only score 60 by my reckoning, but there we go.
yeah, well, I did it very, very quickly. So
Yeah. But biocide is the only win, providing the S is in the bag. And Lewis is a very, very good player and has probably realised that.
yeah,
You know, and his only win would just, for obvious reasons, be with the S in the bag.
No. I haven't got much time.
And, yeah. Lewis took the chance, the 12%, and it didn't quite work.
Mm.
Sadly.
Oh, interesting. Arrears scores 1 point more.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's about the same. Actually, Arrears is better because, you know, it's 2
Yeah,
points
okay.
left in your rack either way. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those 2Es are going down somewhere.
Lee,
I see 8.
N, E, and EE. 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 8.
12.
Okay.
It's 12. I see Z for 14.
Yep. Yeah.
Lewis sees Z for 14. Which is the best. And that was a great endgame as well. It was still possible to win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Rick was very fortunate there that he managed to draw that S after playing housing.
So, by being bold, Rick has won the game.
Yes, we're in the bag then.
Because that was a pretty great move, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So